When people hear the title Instant Millionaire, the first reaction is usually skepticism. It sounds like another promise of fast money, shortcuts, or financial tricks. But very early in the book, Mark Fisher makes it clear that this story is not about becoming rich overnight. It's about something much more subtle and powerful, an instant shift in identity. The book opens by challenging a common illusion that money comes first and mindset follows. Fisher flips this completely. He shows that wealth is not something you chase, it's something you align with. The instant moment in the title refers to the moment you stop seeing yourself as someone waiting for success and start seeing yourself as someone who creates it. What's interesting is that Fisher doesn't teach formulas or tactics at the beginning. Instead, he introduces a way of thinking that separates ordinary people from those who build lasting wealth. The millionaire in this book doesn't convince through logic alone, he exposes mental blind spots that most people never question. One of the strongest ideas in this first part is that most people live their lives in reaction mode. They react to bills, to jobs they don't like, to limited options. The book argues that true wealth begins when reaction turns into deliberate choice. That shift doesn't require money, it requires awareness. Fisher also highlights how people confuse comfort with safety. Staying in a familiar situation may feel safe, but over time, it quietly limits growth. The book suggests that the biggest risk isn't failure, it's living a life where potential is never tested. What makes this part powerful is that it doesn't attack the reader, it gently exposes patterns. You start realizing how often decisions are made based on fear, approval, or habit rather than intention. And that realization alone already starts changing how you see your life.
Exactly. And this is where Instant Millionaire becomes less about money and more about self-permission. The book suggests that many people don't fail because they lack opportunity, but because they never gave themselves permission to think bigger. Mark Fisher introduces the idea that wealth begins the moment you decide that your current limits are negotiable. That's a powerful concept. Most people treat their circumstances as fixed facts, not temporary conditions. The millionaire character in the book challenges this quietly, not by motivation, but by clarity. Another key message in this part is responsibility, not blame, responsibility. Fisher draws a clear line between complaining and creating. The moment someone takes full responsibility for their financial and personal direction, they reclaim control. Without responsibility, even opportunity becomes useless. The book also points out that people often wait for confidence before taking action, but confidence, according to Fisher, is usually the result of action, not the cause. This idea alone dismantles a lot of hesitation people carry. What stands out is how the book frames change. It doesn't say you need to change everything at once. It says you need to change how you decide. Once decisions are made from a higher standard, behavior naturally follows. By the end of part 1, the reader is no longer focused on money. Instead, they're questioning identity, choices, and long-term direction. And that's intentional. Fisher wants the foundation to be mental before it becomes financial.
As the book moves forward, Mark Fisher begins to dismantle one of the most deeply rooted beliefs people have about money, the idea that working harder automatically leads to wealth. He makes it clear that effort alone is not the deciding factor. Direction matters more than intensity, and awareness matters more than effort. The story reveals how many people are trapped in what looks like productivity, but is actually repetition. They wake up, work, get paid, and repeat, without ever questioning whether their actions are leading them somewhere meaningful. Fisher subtly points out that being busy is not the same as being effective. A major theme in this part is the difference between earning money and creating value. People who earn money trade time for income. People who create value build systems, ideas, or solutions that exist beyond their presence. This distinction is critical because time is limited, but value can scale. Fisher also addresses the illusion of security. Many people stay in jobs or lifestyles they dislike because they believe stability equals safety. But the book argues that true security comes from adaptability and skills, not from a single paycheck. When your income depends on one source, that source becomes a hidden vulnerability. Another important idea introduced here is personal standards. The book suggests that your financial results rarely exceed the standards you unconsciously accept. If mediocrity feels normal, results will reflect that. Raising standards is uncomfortable, but it's also the gateway to growth. What's powerful is that Fisher doesn't glorify risk. Instead, he reframes it. The real risk, according to the book, is spending years in a life that doesn't align with your potential. Once you see that, playing small no longer feels safe. It feels costly.
Yes, and this is where the book becomes very honest about self-sabotage. Fisher explains that many people unknowingly protect their comfort zones, even when those zones are limiting. They reject opportunities not because they aren't capable, but because growth would force them to redefine who they are. One of the strongest insights in this part is the idea of mental ceilings. People often say they want more money, more freedom, more control, but their decisions are aligned with what feels familiar, not with what they claim to want. Until that ceiling is raised internally, external progress stalls. Fisher also emphasizes the role of courage, not dramatic courage, but quiet, daily courage, the willingness to make decisions without guarantees. The book reminds us that clarity often comes after commitment, not before it. Another subtle but powerful point is about influence. Who you listen to shapes what you believe is possible. The book suggests that surrounding yourself with people who normalize growth changes your internal reference points. What once felt unrealistic starts feeling attainable. Time is also reframed in this section. Instead of seeing time as something to spend or waste, Fisher presents it as a non-renewable investment. How you allocate your attention today determines the trajectory of your future. This shift alone can transform daily behavior. By the end of Part 2, the reader begins to understand that financial freedom isn't blocked by lack of opportunity, it's blocked by outdated thinking patterns. The book prepares you for its final message, that real wealth begins when identity, decisions, and actions finally align.
In the final part of Instant Millionaire, Mark Fisher brings the conversation back to the word that most people misunderstand: instant. By now, it becomes clear that instant has nothing to do with speed of money. It refers to the instant moment of decision, the moment when someone stops negotiating with their limitations and chooses a higher standard for their life. The book makes a powerful distinction between wishing for change and committing to it. Wishing is passive. Commitment is active. Commitment reshapes behavior even when results are not immediately visible. Fisher emphasizes that most people don't fail because they lack intelligence or opportunity. They fail because they never fully commit. A central idea in this closing section is identity. Fisher explains that wealth is not something you chase externally, it's something you express internally. When your identity shifts, your decisions shift. And when decisions shift consistently, outcomes inevitably follow. This is why sudden financial gains often disappear. The identity didn't change, so the behavior couldn't sustain the result. The book also addresses patience in a very specific way. Not passive patience, but disciplined patience. The willingness to take aligned action repeatedly without emotional dependency on quick rewards. Fisher suggests that this form of patience is what separates people who build lasting wealth from those who rely on luck. Another key point here is personal integrity. doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. The book suggests that trust in oneself is a hidden form of wealth. Without it, confidence erodes. With it, momentum builds, quietly but powerfully. By this stage, the reader realizes that the millionaire in the story is not offering instructions, he's offering a mirror. The real transformation happens not through advice, but through self-recognition.
Exactly. And what makes the ending of Instant Millionaire so effective is that it doesn't create dependency. It doesn't promise guarantees or formulas. Instead, it hands responsibility back to the reader, where it belongs. Fisher closes the book by reinforcing that every day presents an opportunity to choose differently, not dramatically, not publicly, but internally. Wealth, as the book defines it, begins the moment you decide to live intentionally rather than reactively. One of the most important messages here is that freedom is not delayed until success arrives. Freedom begins with ownership of choices, time, and direction. Many people wait for money to give them permission to live differently, but Fisher reverses that logic. Live differently first, and the financial results follow. The book also challenges the reader to redefine success, not as comparison, but as alignment. Are your actions aligned with the life you claim you want? If not, no amount of motivation will fix the gap. Only honest decisions will. Perhaps the most powerful takeaway from the final part is this: the moment you see yourself as capable of more, you can no longer comfortably live as less. Awareness changes the cost of inaction. Once you know better, staying the same becomes uncomfortable. If Instant Millionaire leaves the reader with one lasting idea, it's this: you don't become wealthy when your bank account changes. You become wealthy when your standard for yourself changes.
This book is not about quick money. It's about permanent thinking. If you apply its lessons honestly, wealth becomes a natural consequence, not a chase. For more deep, timeless book breakdowns on mindset, wealth, and personal growth, subscribe to Red Rose Academy. And share this video with someone ready for real change.